Welcome fellow Star Wars collectors to another episode of Beyond the Cardback. I'm Trooper TK314 and today we're taking a look at the Star Wars Vintage Collection, Carbon Freezing Chamber, and Luke Skywalker Bespin. That's right guys, in honor of May the 4th, the entire month is going to be nothing but Star Wars reviews. So you want to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, do so below, and you also want to follow me on Instagram at Beyond the Force because I'm going to be taking a bunch of Star Wars pictures. First thing to kick off this month's review is going to be the Star Wars Vintage Collection, Empire Strikes Back, Carbon Freezing Chamber, and Luke Skywalker Bespin Fatigues. First thing we're going to take a look at, guys, is the Star Wars Vintage Collection, Empire Strikes Back, Carbon Freezing Chamber. You can take a look at the box here. It looks really cool. They've got Darth Vader fighting Luke. They've got Han about to be put in the carbon freeze chamber. And then on this side it shows the action feature of the carbon freezing block going up and down. Alright guys, here it is out of the box, and this thing is massive. It's really huge. I actually had to turn my table long ways just to be able to fit it on here to record. But you can see that translucent orange material. You put some lights underneath it and it really shines. It looks really cool. I wonder how it'll look in the dark. I hope you guys can see it. Wow, okay, yeah, that turns out pretty good. That looks super cool, especially if you put some action figures on there. This is a great setup for, you know, people who are doing pictures for Instagram and stuff. It also has a play feature where you can take Han Solo and bring him up or put him down in the carbon freeze chamber. But he looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the lights back on real quick so we can take a look. But this is the carbon freezing block that we have seen so many times. I'm over it. I am over this. Quit giving us this, Hasbro, over and over again. Give us another action figure. Besides a Stormtrooper, we should have got an Ugnaught or something with this, or a Bespin Guard, something. Besides this that came with Slave 1. It came with Jabba's Palace. We've got too many. Here's the Stormtrooper that came with this set, and as you can see, it is an exclusive to just the carbon freezing chamber, but unfortunately you can see how it was packed. It is not going to be mint on card, so if you're hoping to get one mint on card, good luck. It's like playing Russian roulette. Here he is out of the package, and it's a great looking Stormtrooper. I do have a couple of paint defects there on the helmet, but other than that, it's really good looking. I like how glossy and shiny it is. It looks just like the Stormtroopers from the movie. But this is a repackage and reuse from the 2016 Vintage Collection Rogue One. This time we'll start with the accessories. He does come with his E11 blaster, and you can see the detail on there. At least they painted some silver paint on it, but he does hold it nicely. Does have a trigger guard, but that is the only thing he comes with. Looking at his head sculpt, you can see there are quite a few paint defects, especially right there in the grill on the front, but from a distance, you know, he blends in. It doesn't really show up, so it looks good. But speaking of his head, he is able to, he's on a ball hinge, so he gets pretty good tilt and swivel. He can look down, look up a little bit. Looking at his arms, they do rotate 360. They are on a hinge, so you get that pretty good movement up. The only thing I don't like is you can still see the joint right there underneath, so it's white. It'd be nice if they had done that in black. But I know why they did it, because the shoulder's showing it there as well, so either way it would have shown badly. But the elbows do bend a little bit more than 90 degrees. They can rotate 360. The hands rotate 360. There is no hinge though on the hands themselves. The grip hand for the blaster, it doesn't hinge as well, but his torso does rotate. He is on a ball hinge right there, well forward and back, and it does rotate 360. The belt is different than some of the other Stormtroopers we've seen. It is a floating belt, so it kind of gets out of the way when you want to do different poses. For instance, if you have the troop transport, his leg does move up that far so you can get him to sit in the troop transport, but it's that weird hinge right there, so you kind of have to rotate it in different places. The knee does bend a little bit less than 90 degrees, so you're not going to get some, you know, kneeling poses with that. It does rotate 360. Looking down at the ankle, it hinges down, hinges up just a little bit, and rotates 360. Next up is the Star Wars Vintage Collection Empire Strikes Back Luke Skywalker and Bespin Fatigues. Here's Luke out of the package, and I have to say I'm pleasantly surprised with it. The little lightsaber there, just the hilt, is hard to put on the belt. I'll show you in just a few minutes. But the face sculpt looks okay. There's a couple of paint defects. Mark Hamill has a really hard face to capture, but it looks pretty good. I like the weathering on the belt. It really does look like leather, and I like the weathering down on the boots. Luke comes with his normal lightsaber, which is cool. The blade doesn't come out, but that's because you get the one right here on the hilt that goes on his belt. The detail looks pretty good on that. And then of course he does come with his DL-44 blaster. Not much weathering, but they did put at least a silver tip on it, and he does hold all the accessories well. Here's a closer look at that face sculpt, and it's not awful, but it doesn't really look like Mark Hamill at all. And the eyes kind of look a little cross-eyed, or maybe like bug-eyed. I don't know what's going on there. But his head is on a ball joint, so he's able to not look up. He doesn't look down. Pretty much all he does is rotate 360. Looking at his arms, they do rotate 360. They go out this far, just a little bit more than a 90 degree. He does bend at the elbow more than 90. The hands rotate 360. Looking at his torso, he is on a ball hinge, so you get some pretty good movement right there. And then the belt is actually a loose piece. It floats, so you can put it in different places that you need. But they did do some great weathering on that to make it look like leather and dirty, like he really did just come from Dagobah. But the lightsaber goes in that little hole right there, and it's just hard to put in. You kind of just have to work it the best you can. But the one complaint I do have about this is look at the legs, how they did the hips weird. He doesn't kick straight out, he kind of kicks off to the side. But the only positive about that is look at that leg split. I mean, you can really put him in some good kicking poses if you want to. They rotate 360. Well, at least the left leg does. The other one doesn't because the holster hinders that just a little bit. But the knee bends better than the Stormtrooper, almost 90 degrees. And of course, it can rotate 360. I mean, you can put him in a sitting pose if you do like that. And then the feet hinge down. They hinge up just a little bit. This concludes my review of the Star Wars Vintage Collection Carbon Freeze Chamber. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, please like, subscribe, comment. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Beyond the Force. There's a link in the description below. And as always, I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and may the Force be with you.